Hi friends, I want to go over this lesson here. Basically to all those who are too tough, have nothing can hurt you, nothing can get into you, it can't make you cry. Even, I guess if it applies to the men, basically, men often put up with a lot. We hold in a lot. We deal with a lot of different aspects between finances, work, families, wives, children, everything, right? And not to say that wives don't, but the guy typically has a little bit more on his plate. So we're also built differently. We can deal with it. We can actually still keep moving on without letting our emotions get the best of us. Sometimes we do, but for the most part, we have it under control. The problem is sometimes we get a little too comfortable and our heart just gets a little calloused because we already know it. We already know what's coming. We already can understand why people behave that way. Sometimes, if you're a man of God, you can actually deal with it and you just kind of know what to not give into, right? But this little lesson is super important, and it's so mind blowing because I didn't understand fully what it really means to give into the Lord. So this little teaching is based upon Lamentations chapter 2 verse 19, where it says, pour out your hearts like water. All right, so we also know in Ezekiel chapter 11 verse 19, 20, where it talks about that God is going to remove this heart of stone. It says, first of all, in order to weep for the Lord, in order to pour our soul to the Lord, we have to actually have this heart of stone has to be broken up. It has to be loosened up. It has to be able to be flowing. But when it's callous, nothing gets in, nothing comes out, nothing happens. So in general, this is for guys, but women too, because they also have developed this personality, masculine, because they had to develop a role of the male and the female, because a lot of them are single. So it's even harder for single parents. So with that being said, there is also a barrier, a thickness of the heart being calloused because it's just normal. You figure how much they had to go through, so they had to be even stronger. So, but regarding this, so as long as you can kind of understand, I'm going through this lesson here based upon the heart representing our feelings and our emotions. And guys, like I say, we're talking about guys. Yeah, how am I going to express my feelings and emotions? How can I ever understand or be so emotional or be so, you know how the expression, I wear my heart on my sleeve, where you can't hide your feelings, because you are who you are and you want to be. If you're that type of person, you're going to be it no matter what. And people can tell when you're happy or sad. There's no fake smile or anything like that. It's just you're you. So when you have your heart inside you, correct? Basically, God put that inside ourselves, in the middle of our body, right? So we're symbolically speaking here about how we're supposed to protect our heart. And it also speaks about here circumcision of the heart. And to understand circumcision of the heart, you have to understand the literal meaning of circumcision, the actual thing that God told Abraham to do in Genesis chapter 17, verse 23 to 27. The promise that he made to him, you know what, I'm going to separate you because you had faith. I'm going to make this as a sign that all of your generation, basically the men, all of the men are going to have to be circumcised. So I had to explain this to my daughter. And this is one of the reasons why I know it's important to explain it. So the foreskin is the extra skin wrapped around the male's genital. So I'm just going to say the ding dong, all right? And that extra skin was cut, the penis, all right? It's cut. And that extra skin, God said, I want every male in your lineage, your whole entire generation, to do this, to cut it. All right, now just comprehend that for a second. Have you ever gone through a surgery Have you ever had you had to go under the knife? You know, women give birth. So women you can kind of say, well, they know what it is to feel pain. Not all women, but I'm just saying, like, women in general have that feeling of pain, excruciating pain. And it may not be for God, but it's a life that's coming out of it, right? How in the world would a male compare to the pain that a woman goes through for God? You know, for God. Because this is a godly thing. This was a commandment given to the males, all Israelites. Even this was also given to Moses. And even Moses' son was about to be killed until Zippora, his wife, had to literally pick up a stone. It says in, I think I wrote down here, Exodus 4:24, where Zippora had to circumcise Moses' son with a flint, which is a rock, a stone, quartz, basically. It's harder than stone. And she had to circumcise her son. Imagine that, so the angel wouldn't strike him down. So here's this is the conversation we had. So this is why I think it's so important. When the Israelites had to do this surgery, this operation, was there anesthesia? Was there a team of doctors and nurses? You know, what type of procedure was it? Because when Abraham was given this, he had to do it. It was him and Ishmael. Abraham was 99. Ishmael was 13. It says that also too in those scriptures I quoted earlier. And all of everyone that lived in his household with him, even if he bought a slave, even if that person wasn't like an Israelite, say he bought a Philistine or Amalekite or something like that, and they lived with him, by force, they had to actually get that operation, that circumcision. So you can kind of understand why it made a difference in all of those guys. So digging a little bit deeper, understanding the healing process of that member of your body is traumatizing. Have you ever got something cut off of your body because you didn't need it? Who would cut off a finger? Who would cut off a toe? You know, or just like who has had a surgery where they had to remove a part of your body? All right, that's kind of it says a lot. If you're doing it for health reasons, right? We understand, and it's still traumatic. Now think about it. God is asking you to do this. God is telling Abraham, I want your people to do this. And this is going to be a sign from just me to you, that everyone who's watching is going to see you guys are different. So when they cut this flesh off, this foreskin, there was blood. There was pain. This pain did not just magically go away. It was there for probably weeks. How long does it take the body to heal from any cut? Which more or less, I mean, like, think about a surgery now. That type of surgery, where, I mean, you still got to go to the bathroom. You still got to, walk around. You still got to do things. And I don't know if you remember that story where the two oldest brothers went and killed the whole entire city of men when they were circumcised because they violated Dinah, which Jacob's two oldest brothers, I think it was, I can't remember, but they went and attacked the city when they've already made an agreement, like, hey, we're gonna all get circumcised because we want to have peace. And they killed all the men during the healing time. They couldn't stand, they couldn't defend themselves, they couldn't walk, they couldn't pick up a sword. You see what I'm saying? That's the pain that they went through. So when God said that all these people, that if you want to be an Israelite, you have to do this, that was a serious thing. That was a serious operation. And that's the whole reason why when you read the book of the New Testament and Paul's writings to the Galatians, the Romans, the Colossians, the Ephesians, Philippians, all those cities that were outside, that the Israelites still wanted to do that, but we know that God, Jesus he finished it. He laid his life, his flesh on the cross. So basically, that flesh that was taken off from that person, the foreskin, was like basically so you can have a glimpse of what pain is, of what Jesus went through as a guy. All right, so as a guy, you're going to understand the pain that Jesus suffered to a degree, because he's taking your most private possession and he's cutting it. And you're having to cry, and you're having to like deal with the after effects of it for weeks. And so that every time you go to the bathroom, you're going to remember, hey, Jesus went through a lot more. So this is just like a little study that most people aren't going to grasp. So understanding the whole heart thing, because now he's asking you to circumcise your heart. Take away all that stuff, all that lust, that anger, that hey, I'm like this because I was like this. This is who I am. I'm not going to change for nobody. That's not of God, because you have to circumcise your heart. That's why he says there's neither circumcised nor uncircumcised, neither Jew nor Greek. It's like it's like this is now, Jesus put that on the cross. It's finished. So now he opened the doors to all nations, man and women, right? So we're all able to circumcise our heart, spiritually, get rid of all of that stuff that we don't need, and just kind of like worship God in spirit. And that the new man of God, like the new man, the complete man of God, is going to he's going to be able to do way much more spiritually, reach way much more people other than a physical attribute that the Israelites had. It's not superficial anymore. I guess you can say I'm this way because I was born this way. No, it's not. It's like a heart condition. So God's going to create our heart and make it flesh again. So I just thought that was really interesting. Like, so if you ever think that you're just too strong, or you just were never taught to cry or to weep before the Lord, to pour out your heart before the Lord, it is possible. But it's a heart condition. That's where it starts. It's in the heart. So I hope this lesson helps somebody. Hope, to just kind of see it from a different point of view. And even if like a guy, like there's no excuse to not giving your heart to the Lord. You're still a man. You're still, you still have the ability to control your emotions, but at the same time, you still have what it takes to give your heart to the Lord. All right. Thanks for listening. Until next time.